do it like it's hereditary. I grew up in a black military. Who they think they stopping? They don't know too much. They be talking a lot. Go make me call they bluff. Assalamu alaikum to your lady friend. Then I call the blush. We are not even close to being the same. All right, when you tell me when we started. We live.
Yeah. Make sure the people can hear us though.
They almost caught some freestyle sessions. All right, let me go grab the link real quick. I'm gonna keep that beat. I like that beat. I'm gonna go in the studio and record that song.
I must definitely caught the freestyle. I'm saying.
I was born to do it like it's hereditary. I grew up in the military. That's a true fact. That's a true fact, my friend.
Man, you grew up in the county.
You grew up in the military, brother.
Nah, the military though. For
Black
real.
military. I'm pulling up the comments. What's up, family? Okay, we looking good. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Let me tell the people on live, we live. Pull up, grab a seat. We about to get to it. Somebody say volume seem kinda low. Somebody say it seem kinda low. Let me know. Yeah, man. Low like a drunk man standards or like big topic, big talk, man. We doing the first live man to man.
Yeah.
Streaming. It's gonna be on YouTube, so you gotta make sure you go to my 19 Keys YouTube page. We're about to start doing these streaming, so we get to catch up on a lot of different topics, and we don't get to catch y'all suckers on because, you know what I mean. A lot of people, a lot of things be going on in the world, and we don't get to gather all of the intelligence on it, you know. But yeah. So make sure y'all go to my YouTube page right now. We live streaming. We live streaming. Go to the YouTube page right now. We live streaming. We got a lot to talk about, man. That Leave the World Behind was crazy. I'm gonna get your opinion on that.
Facts.
That's definitely predictive programming. They got a new thing coming out called Civil War. It starts off the commercial say 19 states. You know what I mean? Decided that they wanted to go away from the U.S. So that's a big thing. You got to be able to decode. You see the things that's happening with Tesla and the electric vehicles. You feel me? In a movie, then all of a sudden electric vehicles get recalled. It's a war going on outside.
Yeah.
The Biden already said that they can legally open up a probe against Elon. That's a war. Then Obama behind the you got to know what's going on in the world to see what's happening. You got to know what's going on in the world to see what's happening. So, listen, make sure y'all head over to my YouTube page. I'm about to shut this down. Head over to the YouTube page right now, 19 Keys, and we're going to lock in. Yeah, it's no echo over there. Don't worry about it. All right, boom, bowski. All right. So, family, we about to go ahead and get started here. I can see y'all chat over here, so if y'all want to put anything in the chat, I will be able to see it. You know what I mean? I will be able to see all your super fat chats and all of that good stuff. This is something that I want to do more often. We're going to try to do this week to week, and I'll let Steve go ahead and open up the show.
All right, peace, family. Welcome to the Man to Man podcast where we talk like guys. I'm your host, Steve Jones, and this is my brother, 19 Keys. And today we're going to get into a few different topics, but I know we want to discuss the movie, what it's called, Leave the World Behind.
Leave the World Behind, man.
Julia Roberts. What's her name?
Yeah, Julia Roberts, Merciless Ali. He from Oakland, I believe.
Yeah.
Or from the Bay.
Hey, so the movie, you can get them a breakdown of what the movie was about
seen the
real
movie?
quick. Yeah, I
Yeah.
seen it, but you can get them the description real quick, man. Just before we jump into the
Man,
conversation.
you said you wanted to talk, bro. I can go because this how it starts.
Yeah,
This how it starts because if
Come
I
on,
get the
kick it
flowing,
off,
I'm gonna
bro.
get the going. All
Nah,
right.
kick it off real quick.
You got a
man.
lighter? You got a lighter? Let me get a lighter real quick before we get started. They say Ledger got hacked. Y'all put any news topic y'all want us to carry on. We go get it
There
going.
you go, brother. I got you.
Oh no, we got one right here. Steve must smoke something. He got a lighter in his pocket.
It's about something.
Yeah, he must smoke something. You got a lighter in your pocket. You smoking on something.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I'm in California. You know how that go.
Yo, can y'all hear us? Make sure everybody can hear us. Make sure the volume is up. Yeah, the volume good. Let's make sure we want to make sure the volume is hitting before we commence. This right here, that Palo Santo got to be hitting before we get into what we go to get into. And make sure you put "Lead the World Behind" deeper meaning in the Whoopty Wop. Deeper meaning, 19 keys, Steve Jones. Come on, man, we gotta get the full Whoopty Wop. Yeah, we gotta get the full Whoopty Wop. Yeah, make sure y'all subscribe. This is where it's gonna be going down. They say turn it up a little bit. They want that volume a little higher, but some people say they can hear. Some people say it's good. Volume up. All right, Boombowski. So listen. So lead the world behind. I ain't gonna lie, I deep dived a little bit on this topic. Lead the World Behind it was a good movie, first of all. You know what I mean? If I'm gonna rate it, I'm a movie buff. A lot of people don't know this about me, but I'm a movie buff. I actually like movies. Ever since I was a kid, I used to always look for the programming in the movies. We was always taught to watch the
hidden
messages, the hidden meanings, because every time somebody does a movie, they always adding in something extra. It's never just entertainment. Right. Only a fool thinks that. You know what I'm saying? You get this great opportunity to put all of these sign symbols in there. Come on, man. Especially when you got figures like, the Obamas having something to do with the production. You know what I mean? CIA has been embedded in Hollywood since the beginning. They utilized that.
I didn't know nothing about Obama having anything to do with their movie.
Yeah, that's what they say. They say his peoples had something to do with the situationals. But anyway, so let's get into it, right? In the beginning of the movie, you show Julia Roberts' character. Yeah. She is in front of her library. And in front of her library, she has all of these books laid out. There's books everywhere. You see on the clock, and on the cup mug, there's sixes everywhere. So it lets you know automatically these are signs and symbols, right? There's a book that says Phenomenal Woman or something like that. There's a book that says Witches right there. There's a book that says Blink, right? There's a book by Thomas Hutchison, right? And now all of these matter to the point that I'm going to get to. So I started watching this movie. I didn't know what to expect, but I can just tell by the vagueness of the promo that it's going to be a good movie. It's one of the movies you got to watch to appreciate. Right. They can't really show you because if to show you is to give up some of the movie, right? So I'm watching it, and she starts off in the beginning, and she like, listen, we about to go. He dude waking up, and she packing. Like, what's going on? Is it an emergency? He's like, no, we about to go hit on a vacation. So he like, vacation? She like, yeah, man, I woke up, I had this strange feeling, like I started looking it up, so-and-so and them house had it for a bargain, I decided to go get it. And he like, but why now? And so she go into this like deep philosophical thought about having this realization that she was staring out the window and said she was sun gazing that morning. And she said she came to the realization that she hate people. You know what I mean? Yeah. But, that was like the end of like, it wasn't a real logic to why though. She was just explaining like, I don't know, I just had this realization. Right. And I just realized that we need to go. So for me, in the beginning of the movie, the guy, you would think that he'd be like, man, I got stuff to do. I ain't going. Because she just springing on this idea to him, or the children to go be busy. But she obviously calculated, planned all that out, and knew he couldn't say no. So he like, I like vacations, kids, let's go. So for me, even at the beginning of the movie, you know, he had to trust the woman's kind of like intuition. But in the book Blink, right? The book that she had on her nightstand was the hint to her character and why she even thought the way that she thought. The book Blink, which is by Malcolm Gladwell, is called The Power of Thinking Without Thinking, right? And it's
So
all
she
about
just did that in the blink of an eye.
right,
basically.
and it's about like it may look like a blinking of an eye, but there's always these thoughts behind everything that we do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there was a bunch of books that were kind of like that. If you got to really like zoom in, grab the title, and then you will kind of have an understanding of like these are the ideas behind the
Now
movie.
let me ask you this, right? With her having that realization or that feeling, in reality, how important do you think it is to act on your thoughts when you have those like type of thoughts and just get it done right then and there instead of
I think
waiting?
they matter in the moment. You have to. That's kind of the power of you may not know exactly why.
Yeah.
But that's also the power of having a woman, and I think that was the whole point of it as well. Like a woman's intuition ain't never wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like a man's logic will figure out all these other things, but you know what I'm saying? If that's the point, if you go get into a marriage and a relationship, you got to learn how to trust your woman's intuition and be able to move in with flow and not have friction in that moment because you never know what's behind that.
Yeah.
But for you to question that, man, they wouldn't have got out of Dodge. You feel me? So it was like some ideas are time sensitive. You got to get that idea done when it comes to you, otherwise it's not worth anything.
Right.
You could have had that realization, like I'll do that next week. And it ain't no next week. You feel me? It might not be no next week. Like if somebody get that intuition, same thing. But anyway, so they decided to go take this road trip. You feel me? And move out with the family, get out of the city, because the city is the world. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like the city, living in city is where all of this sickness happens. Like and then of course the world is not just like, it's not the planet, and that's the whole thing. The world is like these ideas. You know what I'm saying? The world is America. The world is these states, these corporations, these institutions, these systems. So they leave, and they decide, of course, they want to go to the beach. They want to do all these different things, and because they arrive to the place, and one of the first things they seen was a deer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The lady see the deer.
And they say it's a sign of a good omen.
Yeah. So, but he say it's a sign of good omen in Mesoamerican. You know what I'm saying? That's what because remember, he like a English teacher or whatever, history teacher. So he know all of these like facts about things. So he like, this is a good omen. Right? So if you go look at what Mesoamericans believe about deers, they believe they like protective spirits or they like guides. You know what I'm saying? Like they're meant to like, guide you and warn you or be a protective spirit to let you know about things. So as soon as they got there, the deers was like, it's about to go down. Deers is looking at them like, yeah. You feel me? Like, yeah, it's about to happen because they supposed to be like messengers. You know what I'm saying?
And now speaking of that, when it came to the animals, that was one of the key parts that I found, extremely interesting in the movie. The brother, like nobody paid attention to the younger child, how it is when it comes to kids or whatnot. My mic grabbing? Let me fix my mic right quick. What about now?
Pause. Yeah, go ahead.
Pause, man. But anyway, nobody paid attention to the child, but she was in tune with nature.
Yeah.
So she kept trying to tell the parents and everybody that the animals was trying to warn us, and everybody was blowing her off. But I found that extremely like important because in the real world, the animals and the plants gotta obey the laws of the universe as well. Just like a human. These laws is like that govern the world is not exempt from the animals, the humans, or the plant life.
No, they a part of it.
Yeah, a part of it. So that's what I found. That's what I thought. What's your thoughts on that angle?
Well, I mean, the animals. That's what I'm saying. Like the animals, ancient people always looked at the animals as gods. The animals can see things in a world that we can't. Like, it was just recently confirmed that like plants make noises, below human hearing, right? So like a plant that's healthier may have like, let's say a plant makes a noise and it's like gurr, 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 gurr. But they say like an unhealthy plant is going to make that noise a little more frequently, like an alarm. Right. So you have to imagine like animals or maybe some insects could hear that. So there's something wrong in the environment. An animal may be able to hear it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And we may look at it as like a mystical thing, but they can literally hear in different dimensions. We can't hear that because it's below human spectrum. There's things that they can see that we can't see because, our eyes only see in certain
Right.
color spectrums. So there may be fear in the air and they can smell it, right? And
Like a dog.
yeah, and it may be like a pre-warning to like death about to happen in the environment. You know what I'm saying? It can be something that's spreading in the messages between plants that they can hear and see, and we can't see that. So we have to rely on our observations of animals and how their reaction to things that we can't tap into. So even when you calling something a spirit guide, that's a very practical thing. You know what I'm saying? It can literally guide your spirit because they can tap in as messengers on warnings to things that we can't even sense or see.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, so I feel like, animals have that ability to tap in and see things that we can't. It could be somebody could have, imagine if there's an animal that can see an aura of somebody who's angry. You know what I'm saying? And we don't realize that this animal don't like this person because they can literally see them glowing a certain color. You know what I'm saying? So these are like the things that human beings, we get stuck by our five senses, and that's when, you can get trapped in the world, seeing things with just your five senses. So you have to tap in and be in cohesion with nature in order to, have access and understand what those signs and symbols beyond your senses are.
So I want to ask you, after watching the movie, right? What does the title of the movie mean to you now? Leave the world behind. After viewing the movie.
Well, hold on. I want to go through the whoopty wop first, cause, I mean, shit. That I feel like the lead the world behind it can be an obvious. Like even in the as we was talking about this, um, for me, leave the world behind. I was thinking about. I asked the question on Twitter, like, what you want to leave behind in 2023. You know what I mean? Because it's also not just what you want to leave behind, what you want to take with you. You know what I mean? Like, we was always taught about the fall of America from when I was a child, right? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad wrote Fall of America. So we was always warned about these day and age. So for me, my normalcy bias, you know what I mean, is the fact that I've already been taught about it. I've envisioned it. You know what I mean? So it's already a possibility. So if it happened, I wouldn't be shocked. And that's the point of like visualizing things before they happen. So when it happened, you can react faster because you're not shocked. It's already normal to you. You know what I'm saying? So when we talking about normalcy bias, you know what I mean, and predictive programming, that's what this is. But leave the world behind has to have a different meaning for everybody because the world is something different for everybody. You know what I mean? Like the world is your collection of ideas and beliefs. It's your perspective. It's what you see. The reason that we have so much turmoil, fight, and strife in this world is because everybody has their own ideas and views of the world. You know, right? What you think the world is, what I think the world is. Who you think God is, who I think God is. Right? What you think right is, what I think right is. And those become a clash. Right? So it's like, this is find your tribe season. You know what I'm saying? Where you got to tap into people who have the same worldview as you. But when you're talking about leave the world behind, man, there's many worlds. You have to choose which world you want to leave behind and which world you want to take forward with you. The world can be this city. The true world or nature is reality. You know what I mean? What we perceive as the world can be marketing. It can be branding, right? We can feel a way about something because we were taught to perceive something a certain way, right? The city is not reality to me in the sense of like nature. Right. That's why so many people are sick. But when we talking about leave the world behind, let's like if we cut off all in the internet, what would we have? A cyber attack, is an imminent threat in our day and age, especially as we heavily relied on technology.
That was the next question I was going to ask you. That's what's funny.
but when we talking about animals, even there was a scene with the flamingos, and that was one thing I couldn't figure out at first. But when you look up flamingos, like flamingos in like somebody's lawn is supposed to represent like swingers. You know what I mean? Or they supposed to have like a representation of like something romantic happening. And then right after that scene, they were showing, I mean, right before that scene, the black dude was in there with his wife.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the girl was out there with the
With the
father.
father, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they was like, what the hell? What the hell do the flamingos mean? And I feel like all of this was like these signs. You know what I'm saying? And maybe the dude, maybe the husband, he might have known, but he probably didn't want to say it at the time. What the hell do flamingos mean? You feel me? But I just thought that that was an interesting
I think
aspect
that
they
was
threw in
interesting
there.
about just the fact of them even just having different signs pop up in the movie, because that's reality. A lot of us don't pay attention to the signs in real life,
Nah, we don't.
you know. So
Nah, we
I
don't.
wanted to ask you this, right? The, and how plausible, right, is a cyber attack scenario seem to you in the real world? And do you think our reliance on technology will render us vulnerable if it happened in the real world?
Hell yeah. Listen, there's a so-called hole in the sun right now. And they said that sun is leaking, more radiation than ever before, like 10 times more. Some crazy stuff going on. So if it knocks out all of the technology, the question to ask is, are you prepared? Right? There was one guy in that movie that seemed to be prepared. He was a survivalist. Even Merciless Ali, he had a friend that, because he worked in cybersecurity. That was his job. Or not cybersecurity, but he worked in finances, you know. But he had a friend that was telling him, that, and I don't know who they were trying to say this friend was. Maybe he was trying to say he was like Elon Musk or something,
Yeah.
because he
I
said,
automatically thought of Warren
yeah.
Buffett.
Well, I feel like almost like Elon, because Elon wouldn't need, Warren wouldn't need him to do no financial stuff. But Elon, he was saying that this guy got like defenses,
Yeah.
defense contracts with the government, which Elon does have, or it could be like a Jeff Bezos type character, right?
Yeah.
Because he was saying he's not famous, but you would know this guy. He's the most rich and powerful person that I know, and especially since they threw Teslas in there,
Yeah.
right? But it had me thinking that they was kind of alluding that might be like an Elon character that they talking about in the movie, and he was saying that this guy was saying that something go hit the fan. You know what I mean? He was, but after he told him, after he told the lady about the story, he was like, even the more rich and powerful people, they don't even really decide the world. They don't really control the world. The most they can get is a heads up. And I actually think that that's true as hell. You know what I mean? Like they have more resources, so they're less vulnerable. But when you think about people that like are in those elite positions, you may think that they're completely privy to everything and know it all, and it's not true. You know what I'm saying? Like the best that they get is a heads up, and they still got to get to their resources at the right time ahead of time in order to be safe, right? So it's like the person that was the most prepared, of course, if you have your connections in that type of situation and you can get away ahead of time and utilize your resources, or the survivalist.
So, if you
Keith, you got a stronger charger, like a stronger one. It's not strong enough for the computer
Hold up,
with everything going on.
not strong enough. Use this one. That should be strong enough. You seen the movie though, right?
yeah, I seen it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta just ask natural questions, man.
Yeah.
Too interviewing.
All right.
Nah, 'cause I just want to decode it. You know what I'm saying? Like, just think about the movie itself. Like, that part in the movie, there was a book on the shelf, and a guy called Thomas, what's his name? Thomas Piccinni, right? So Piccinni, he wrote these books. So part of the books that was on there,
Right.
you know what I mean? Because I started watching the movie, but I go frame by frame. You feel me? So Thomas Piccinni, or Pitching, I guess, he wrote like these different books. And I was looking at the different books that he wrote, because they don't tell you what book was on the shelf. It just shows the author's name.
Right.
So he had one called Gravity's Rainbow. It was set in 1973. So, or he wrote in 1973. And this one was set in Europe at the end of World War II. And it explores design, production, and dispatch of the V-2 rockets by the German military. And it dives into the subjects of technology, paranoia, right, and the intersection of preternatural historical events. He has another one. And this one is The Crying of Lot 49 in 1966. And it says this novella centers on Oedipa Maas, a woman who unravels a conspiracy involving an underground postal service. This book is about postmodern literature featuring a mix of absurdity and serious themes. There's another one called Inherent Vice. It's about the psychedelic noir that follows private investigator Doc Sportello, and it weaves complex web of characters, plots touching on the impact of the Manson family murders at the end of the psychedelic era. Thought that was important for a particular reason, and I'm gonna go into that. Mason and Dixon. This one is about the novel Charles Manson and Jeremy Dixon, and it tells fictional lives, but anyway. And then the last one was about in 2013, The Bleeding Edge, set in Manhattan after the dot-com boom and before the 9/11 attacks. It investigates tech frontier with NORAD's plot involving fraud, cybersecurity, and conspiracy. And it goes on to say his books are about like addressing empathy, entropy, which is chaos, conspiracy, human behavior, and the impact of technology and culture. So it's like when the black people first showed up to their house, what did you think?
Me personally, right? I would have never opened the door. Black or white, I wouldn't have never opened the door, let these people come in and none of that.
Not even open the door?
No, I wouldn't have did none of that. Just because how I was raised. Some strangers knock on your door in the middle of the night. Your phone already don't work, and I got my kids in here. I'm not opening the door. That's over with. You can talk through this. We can talk through the glass door.
What would y'all have done? Would y'all have opened on the door?
I thought they was about to attack the white people. To be honest, that's what I thought, and it's crazy.
But see, I think that's part of, and it's like the Manson murders was like that. No, but that's kind of like that's why when I seen he wrote the Manson murders, and the Manson murders, a nice couple shows up to the house. You know what I'm saying? Seemingly nice. And then they go into the house and commit these crazy random acts of violence.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what it looked like they was a part of some kind of cult and they was about to do some serial killer spree for a second.
But a part of me did say, well, nah, I don't think they're gonna do nothing because he had his daughter with him.
Now, you know what the reason I ain't think he'll do nothing? Because he had the bow tie on. He looked like a black Muslim showing up to that door. I would have opened the door. What's up, brother? Assalamu alaikum, black man. What you doing here, brother?
Man.
Ain't you a little lost, black man? Got your sister, little daughter out here? I ain't gonna lie, but I feel like the point of that part was like to show like how we don't trust each other.
Yeah.
You know, like America is not a safe place. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't trust other Americans. Somebody knock on your door late at night, you don't trust them. There's places like Sweden, right? There's different places where they literally like trust their neighbor. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We don't trust thy neighbor.
Yeah, but she had every right to not trust thy neighbor just because of the crazy world we live in.
Yeah.
We live in a crazy world, so you gotta ask questions.
The world, right?
Yeah.
That's the idea, because she said she hate people, and it's like, why? But that's the whole point. Like, there was no actual villain that they showed in the movie.
Yeah.
The Americans were the villain. You know what I'm saying? Being trapped with other Americans was the scary part. You know what I'm saying? Like, your own neighbors were the people during the apocalypse that you got to worry out for.
Yeah.
You feel me?
So if something like that was to happen, right, do you think our neighbors, do you think we'll come together, or do you think it'll just fragment and far away more apart?
Hell no, we ain't come together.
You don't think we have to stick together in some type of way to try to overcome this shit?
Is you crazy?
Or it's just a dog-eat-dog world like it is now? Would it still be?
Is you crazy? Is you crazy? I ain't trusting
so
nobody.
In that movie, you would be like the white man who had the gun on the porch.
For
right?
sure.
Yeah.
For surely. Yeah. For surely.
Just it's everything about you and your family surviving.
100%. If I ain't know you before this, I'm not gonna know you after. You know what I'm saying? Don't come to my porch. I'm exercising all my rights to squeeze this trigger. It's not. I'm being triggered by everything. Just don't come on my land. But see, that's the American mentality, right? Every man for themselves, dog-eat-dog world, right? That's what's the scary thing about being trapped with other Americans are, because we got a messed up mentality. We're not together. We're not a united people. The only thing that probably can unite people of this world is an alien attack. You know what I'm saying? But anything done by man divides man.
So from the aspect of, you know, it dealt with racism in the movie. It dealt with intolerance. Which one of these storylines do you feel like was the most compelling and relatable to you?
uh, intolerance. We can't tolerate each other, bro. We don't trust each other. The girl and the mom had a relationship, but they wanted to show like a millennial in that particular situation, which I think was smart. All they had was the
Which
Julia
girl?
Roberts
The
is kind of like
the black girl. Yeah.
It was only two girls and
Oh,
three
yeah, that's
girls.
why. Yeah, that's why. I was
But
asking.
Julia Roberts is kind of like a Karen, you know what I'm saying? And the black girl kind of represented like the millennial, you know what I mean, esque, if you will. And so they have like all these different generations in there. The young boy, he represent, you know what I mean, he ain't paying attention to nothing the whole movie. He ain't even in the movie. He clocked completely out.
Yeah.
He's lost in the sauce. You feel me? He ain't paying attention to nothing. He got down, waxing off to pictures, and he trying to get to a girl. He ain't the teenage boy getting it the worst. His mind is completely gone out this world, right? Which I thought was interesting because only the women was really like paying attention, like on one side, and of course mercilessly because he knew what was happening the whole time. He ain't got to be convinced. He already think things are worse than they are. So, I think this overall feeling of we can't trust each other.
Yeah.
We don't tolerate. That's real. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
We don't you don't borrow sugar from your neighbors no more. You know what I'm saying? You don't trust your neighbors. America has become a very intolerant place. We used to borrow sugar from the neighbors.
I ain't never had to do that.
No, you got to have good neighbors.
By the grace of God.
We didn't have to, but shoot, the neighbors got brown sugar and they was good people. I'm just saying, we had a nice little neighborhood for half a second. It wasn't really that nice.
You know what stood out too, right? With all of the chaos that was going on, and nobody had time for the youngest child that was in the movie. Like, she was just in her own world, and she already felt she'll let you know, like, when she feel like don't nobody listen to anything she say and pay attention.
Yeah.
But none of that.
Because
But
nobody
I
do.
see that going on a lot, man. I be going over these women, seeing women out here whatnot, and they'll just get the kids the tablet. As long as the kids quiet, they don't give a damn what the kids doing,
No, that's real. Like the kid was the one, the child and the animals, the things you're not observing and paying attention. She was the one who noticed the ship first. The ship was about to come, the White Lion ship, which is also a representation of the White Lion ship was the ship that docked in 1619 that brought over the slaves and stuff for the trade. You feel me? So it was a lot of representations in that as well. And then, of course, that was a representation of like, they talked about electricity going down, but then also oil, you know what I'm saying? Natural oil, right? So it was very deep because, America runs off gold, oil, and drugs.
Yeah.
That's the American God, you know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, the child, she was like, yo, you see the ship? Nobody paying attention to her, you know what I'm saying? The second person who seen it was the mom. You know what I'm saying? Then the pops, and then the boy, he was just automatically checked all the way out. He ain't knowing nothing. He wasn't helpful for nothing in the whole movie. You know what I'm saying? Like the teenage boy is just done for. So the little girl, she kept trying to tell him like, yo, you don't see the deer? It's like hundreds of deer. Is that normal? She noticing everything, but she also preoccupied by the fact that, she wanted to watch Friends. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so what was the little hidden meaning behind that, though? Like, she was attached to the TV show Friends. I still don't get that.
I think
because it went off like that, and it ain't make no sense to me.
I think that kind of goes into, distractions. You know what I'm saying? All of this shit happening in the world and the indulgence in the distractions. Like, there was something that the black girl said. She said she watched Friends too, but she said that it's almost nostalgic for an era that doesn't exist, that never existed. And I think that was a prevalent theme in the movie. Like, you think about this. Like, think about what doesn't exist anymore. We sold everything nostalgia these days, right? Like, that time where your family would sit around and watch certain TV shows, that's almost nostalgic for a time that never existed. We got to mourn so many times that don't even exist no more, right? The idea that you could let your child go over your neighbor's house. You know what I'm saying? Like, we make movies about nostalgic times. It's almost as if a dimension's completely shifted and we left that world behind, right? So it's like that little girl, she was trying to watch the show and she was bringing up all of these shows that we no longer watch for a time that feels like it's far away. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that was another kind of like theme in it. Like, look how much America has changed and lost the American so-called like values. Look how much family values have dissipated, right? Look how far we've come from a world already, and we don't even realize we have this new normal that we've accepted. There was a time where the whole family would have possibly, if you watched Friends with your family, would have watched it. Now this little girl is clinging to a time that don't exist. You know what I'm saying? But then she's also like distracting herself. And her whole thing was to find a distraction the whole movie. You know what I'm saying? She didn't care about family because nobody cared about her. She needed to goddamn find a connection. You know what I'm saying? That's all she was looking for. And in the end, she found her connection in the friend's bunker. You know what I mean? And that can go into even deeper, but I like to look at kind of like the logical decoding of it.
Man, I feel like shit. Like if something like that supposed to happen, I should just be like learn how to be a farmer. And now,
I mean,
in
a
real life.
survivalist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if everybody got to learn how to survive. Like if shit hit the fan, most people have no skill sets to do anything. You know what I mean? Throw them in the forest, couldn't start a fire. You know what I'm saying? Like how long would you survive without electricity? Right? That guy that you with that makes a lot of money, right? Shit hit the fan, no electricity, his money ain't worth nothing. What good is he then? Can he think in this scenario?
So should people they should like lower their dependency on AI with all of this new tech that's coming out.
I don't think nobody's really dependent on AI though.
I see it a lot. People use AI for everything.
I don't think so. Like what?
Shit, every shit to make the movie and all of that. It was AI in the movie. People use AI to come up with thumbnail titles, Instagram.
But that's new
everything.
though. I don't think it's dependent. Like if AI, like
people running their whole company off of AI now.
nah, I don't think we overly dependent or really dependent on AI yet.
But it's only gonna advance.
I feel like we dependent on the internet. We dependent on technology, but not specifically AI. I think like most of our fears around AI are stuff about things that hasn't happened. You know what I mean? No, there's no validated fear of AI yet. You know what I'm saying? It's all about, it's because that comes from predictive programming, right? Everything that people fear about AI is from stuff that they've seen in a movie, right? And it's the one technology that come with fears before it actually is invented and given to the people. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not dependent on AI. You know what I mean? Only thing I do may clip up some clips from a show, but shit, I can do that manually. You know what I'm saying? Like, all it does, it might save you some money and save you some time, but I don't think society has gotten to the point, maybe in years to come for surely, but not right now. But it's more so just being dependent on technology. You know what I'm saying? Because if the grid goes down and electricity goes down, then it don't matter if it was AI or not. You don't have access to nothing. You know what I'm saying? What you gonna do then?
So let's get to the meat and bones of the movie, right? The enemy in the movie. They had the plane that came in the movie that was dropping the signs down or whatnot, and they couldn't read it because it was in another language. But then you got the white guy who was like he thought he knew who was behind it until they showed him the little pamphlet that fell from the plane, and it was two different enemies. Well, two different opposing sides to America. America was the enemy to them. But they joined forces basically to create this cyber attack. Now, with the brick thing that's going on, do you think that is like possible that it could happen where other countries try to go against America just to kill the power?
Man, they trying to do that now.
Yeah,
America
but
been
like,
at
do
war.
you think?
Yeah,
Like
100%.
that's
America
what
been
the
at
sign of the
war
movie is
with.
about.
America been at war with Russia and like them people don't. Oh snap, brother! We got a little light malfunction. Them people been not liking America. You know what I'm saying? America been at war with those countries. America has been a bully and a superpower for years to come.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And the fall of America is inevitable because all empires eventually fall. No empire can last forever. It has to shape into something else. There has to be a new world power, right? It's the end of an empire disease. It happens to all. So yeah, BRICS is a real thing, and I believe that whole, is it the Japanese, is it the Koreans, is it the Arabs? It's like, yeah, that was a kind of representation of that. But you know, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad talked about the mothership dropping pamphlets down. You know what I'm saying? Before the end and the destruction for the mothership comes down. You know what I mean? So like, And the little boy, that was the only time he was really helpful in the movie when he was like, "Oh, I know what that says, Death to America," because his the games
Yeah.
that he read. I mean, that he played. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, um, you gotta look at so many different things. The white lion, what that represents, that big ass ship that docked. You know what I'm saying, on the bank of the beach.
Yeah.
The oil docking on the bank of the beach, that represents the end, right, of an era when you see all of the airline industry is down, the oil tanks are down. It represents America being down. You know what I'm saying? And completely shut down. You feel me? Like their money, their power, their connections, their satellites is gone, right? Like that's America. America is his assets, his resources. America is his influence. So it was showcasing, even though they didn't have to show the rest of the world, all they showed was signs and symbols of the world falling, the end of America being here. But it's predictive programming. It's to create fears, to create panic of possibly what's to come. So you seeing all of these shows now, movies. There's literally a movie about Civil War called Civil War. You know what I'm saying?
On
So
Netflix, I just seen that.
so like these movies are coming as predictive programming. You know what I'm saying? I want you to believe these things are happening, and they most likely will. Like America has been able to, prevail for a long time. Worst thing so-calledly we have been happening in this country was 9/11. You know what I'm saying? But like COVID was something that happened all around the world, but America is due for something to happen because America has all of these enemies and it can't go unscathed forever.
Yeah, see, that's why I feel like the cyber attack can actually happen in real life because of the COVID situation. I caught COVID before, so I know like that shit was around everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got stuck in Paris because of that.
Yeah. I hope that people pay attention to the signs and what's happening, right? These signs of America falling, the signs that you need to get your shit together. Like even in that time, maybe they talked about like what would be the currency of trade. Dude made a good point. Well, if the electricity down, probably dollars would be the best if we still go operate on dollars. But gold in that situation. But then of course food, medicine. You know what I'm saying? Like that, it changes currency instantly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Of what is actually value. Because dude was like, well, we still taking gold because I believe it's Australia is going to be like the first place to be a completely cashless society. So if the grid goes down, all of a sudden your wealth disappears. Your wealth disappears. And in that time, ammo, gold, food, medical supplies, right? Those become, high commodity valuable, assets, something you can trade as currency or as he say, a barter system would then come in place, right? Yeah. It's stuff to think about. Oil is definitely going to go down.
That'll be chaotic, bro, like if that happened, because you got to think in that situation, you can't even be selfish. Even though like it'll kind of program you to become selfish, you still got to think about your family, like your immediate family, and you got to help them survive as well.
Well, they better get with the program. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm
Y'all
saying.
get one noodle a day.
That's what I'm saying. So with that mentality, some people will be like, well, fuck it, they ain't getting with the program. It's like, I gotta leave them behind.
Well, because you gotta think how many you wouldn't want all your family with you in an emergency situation. Not because you don't love them, but because you know they're gonna be tripping.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Some family got mental issues. Some family got anger issues, dependency issues. Some family lazy. You know what I mean? But it also changes the value of family in that situation and who is valuable. Because you gonna want the tough ones with you automatically. You know what I mean? Like somebody that in this world, they may not have been valuable because they ain't got no skill sets, they can't make no money, can't do much. But in a world where shit going to hell, you gonna need some gangsters and some soldiers. You know what I mean? So all of a sudden, they value increases during that time. You know what I mean? The panic, chaos, war. You know what I'm saying? The things going on. So you gotta think about that as well.
I'm telling you now, Solomon, I'm leaving you behind.
Damn, that's cold.
But man.
No, but there was something else. So the Tesla thing. So they came out that Tesla today was talking about recalling their vehicles because of some autopilot issue. Now, it's not the first time I believe that they did like a recall on something. The timing, of course, with the movie makes it auspicious, but that was a super, like, this movie was propaganda again against Elon as well, right? But it's also been said that, this whole idea of going electric is so that they can have more control over people. Because that was one of the scary action parts in the movie, was when the cars was used as weapons. You know what I'm saying? The cars being hurtled, and they use that to block off the streets. So the hackers hacked into the cars, and they used that to block off the highway so nobody can exit in and out. You know what I mean? So now imagine, like, you got all these Teslas on the road, and all of a sudden somebody hacks into them, and they take all of the Teslas and they drive to all of the exit points in every city, and now you can't leave out the city.
You gotta get you a bike.
Yeah, like, no, it's real. It's stuff to think about. Like, we so dependent on electricity, but that would make it easier for, you to be controlled. Like,
shit, they doing that now. Like, even with the cars, like, that automatically stop to prevent the crash. Or they automatically slow your car down while you driving.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Convenience is concealed, right?
Yeah.
Or control is concealed under the guise of convenience, right? It's really control. So you have to be careful giving up all of these controls for convenience, right? Like, I don't want a cashless society. I don't. Cashless, using cash, it still allows you to have autonomy. You don't want a society that goes like China, to where they can shut down your money. The government don't like what you say.
Or they can be like Apple on the iPhone, just automatically go on your account and take all your money.
Hell yeah.
What's the store we went in? We was in Atlanta, and they damn near, like, you can damn near wave your hand and they know who you is.
Oh yeah, I think, what's that?
I think it was an Amazon store.
I think it was Whole Foods, right?
I think it was an Amazon
Probably. The little
mistaken.
palm technology, you scan the eyes, all of that, man. It's like, the best thing you can do is prepare for the day that's inevitable. And unfortunately, we don't have many survivalist instincts or techniques in today. But then you got to also think about, like, what becomes valuable during that time, and you got to be prepared for anything. You know what I mean? Stock up on food, stock up on water, right? Like, if something was to happen, where would your family go? How would what would be the code? How would y'all connect? I remember during COVID, we was making sure that we had, like, walkie-talkie so we could talk to each other over, distances. Like, what channel would y'all put that on instantly? Like, what's the family plan of emergency if shit hit the fan? Where do y'all gonna meet up? You know what I mean? So I feel like all of these things are important right now to think about, because anything can happen. And the worst thing is having a big family and not being able to get to everybody.
Man,
because it'd be
somebody
hard.
getting left out.
Well, the tough thing is, like, you got to be worried about family while you trying to survive.
Yeah.
So the peace of mind to be like, I wish everybody can follow the plan and get to this place. But everybody ain't, like, I think tragedy will make people sober up. And people that had the luxury of acting crazy will go sane really fast for a minute, and survival kicks in. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Even crazy people know how to survive.
Hey, I'd be scared. I ain't gonna lie to you. But I'm gonna figure it out though. To myself, I'd be shit scared. Damn, the lights went out. What is this noise? What about the part when the guy teeth started falling out his mouth?
That was interesting. So that I think was kind of like what the bro was saying with the survivalist shit. It was the frequency technology, the sonar technology. You know what I mean? That technology most likely was emitting some sort of radiation. But I think that's what that was when they was playing that sound. That was like a sound weapon that they was utilizing against the people, not only to create fear and chaos and things of that nature, right? But, it can have an effect. The little girl was like, he was exposed to it the most because he didn't cover his ears or his mouth or whatever. But that was an interesting part of the movie that's supposed to make you kind of think. You know what I'm saying? Like, his teeth was just coming out, like, and it was just crazy. Like, what the hell is this? But I feel like that's because there's, in my mind, I don't know anything that will make a person's teeth fall out that fast.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Besides some kind of radiation. You feel me? And that he talking about is Lyme disease. Lyme disease ain't gonna make your teeth fall out that fast overnight. You know, that's some sort of other different kind of weapon that's being utilized that, you know what I mean, we don't know nothing about. But it ain't no goddamn Lyme disease doing that fast.
So let's go back to this question though, based on the ending of that movie and your reality right now today. If that was to happen, right, what would you have to leave behind? What world of yours right now that you live in that you'll have to leave
I mean,
behind?
everything. I'm done with it all. I'm going straight into Superman survival mode. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Me and we gonna take only the top notch people in the world that's coming with us. You know what I'm saying? Like if I got my ranch, I need the top people in the world. You gotta have some type of value, or otherwise you can't go.
You got to bring Michael Sheed to fight the Deers.
But that's a good question because I don't mind leaving that, like this stuff matters to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have attachment to like things. Like I can let it go instantly. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think you'll be have a choice in that situation. You'll have to have like a detachment level. Like,
But some
there's
people
no
don't
choice.
want to. That's the thing. Is like some people will be, they will the cognitive ability to like let go of the world. It's like the Sodom and Gomorrah. You know what I'm saying? You looking back on the world and like that moment it costs you your life. Like for me, I don't care about none of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? You can't use the phone, laptops,
Key,
nothing.
let me get my chain.
Hey, I'm taking my chain. That's gold. That's money. What you mean? Yeah,
I know.
I'm definitely taking that, brother. We got to trade. It's gold.
Get my chain. That's it.
Hell yeah,
the only
that's
thing you
all I
taking?
need. No, we taking knives, we taking weapons.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We taking food, supplies, anything that I'ma need. We taking that for sure.
I'm taking my gold water for sure.
Oh, for sure. You gotta take
Definitely
the gold
gonna take
water.
the gold
Yeah,
water. You
gotta
gonna
take
bring
the
that
smart
for sure.
balls, Superman. You feel me? I'm taking my crowns because I don't care if it's an
Keeping the
apocalypse.
crown on?
I'm still pouring the crown for surely. I'm wearing the crown throughout the whole apocalypse. I'm wearing the crown through the whole apocalypse. I ain't worried about that.
He wearing
Like,
the crown.
just because the world ain't on me, I'm gonna stop being fly. Is you crazy? Nah, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. I'm still representing 100% fully. You feel me? I'm gonna have to go find me a seamstress in the apocalypse to make sure that I can get fresh ones made. Like that's still
So you
happening.
gotta take Able One or somebody. with
Yeah,
you.
you know what I'm saying?
We need
like,
a nigga on the in the farm with us that design clothes.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? You gotta have somebody that can do music, all of that good stuff.
Oh man.
You know, you feel me?
Well, this was the first live stream of the Man to Man podcast where we talk like guys. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. We'll be back with y'all.
Hold on. Let me see. They got some questions.
Oh, they got questions?
Y'all got some
well, you got
questions
the
over
questions
here?
up there, yeah.
Let me ask them in the. I'm gonna go to the
Let me
chat.
go check it out real quick.
Let me see if they got any questions in the chat. All right. Live questions. So y'all can put it in the subscriber channel or in the chat, and then we're gonna go over here. Boom. So let me know, cause you can see the
I can see the
answers
live, the live now.
Nah, them deers was interesting, man. So look, they say the deers mean. They say the deers. Where is that?
Oh yeah, so somebody in the comments say what's up with the Spanish lady. Me personally, I would have left her too.
Oh, I think the Spanish lady was to show like, well, it's a lot of different things, but it's like, you know, they show Ethan Hunt's character. His character, like at first you think if he's super accepting, but it's like there's a bias that, you know, everybody has. You know what I mean? Like she might have been racist to black people. He might have been racist to Hispanics. You know what I'm saying? She came out of nowhere, and I think she was just really to show humanity. And he didn't even know he would react in that moment. You feel me? That way. But he did. He left her.
See, I would have did, but I felt like his reaction was normal because, like, me personally, I don't know what the hell going on in the world. It's a blackout. Some strange people showed up to my crib. This lady on the side of the road, she's speaking a language I don't know. She ain't getting in this car. I'm finna pull off, me personally.
That's cold game.
Yeah, I'm just being real. That's real game. Don't let nobody in your court.
But
Nobody sitting
but
behind
you
me
know
or
she
none of
can
that.
cook though. First of all, she was a maid.
She had that arm.
Yeah, and she was a maid. Like, she better take her home. She cleaning the whole house through the apocalypse.
I'm cool.
You know what I'm saying? Like, who go clean the house during the apocalypse?
Don't put no thumbs up on the side
I would
of
have
the
brought
road for me.
I would have brought the Mexican lady home. No disrespect, but she was literally had on the maid's uniform. She coming
No.
back to the crib to clean up for sure. Like, look, you can stay, but you keeping your same job.
Yeah. So what about the what you think the signs was behind the plane crashes? Well, I don't really think it was a sign with that. They were just like it was a cyber attack, and it killed all the satellites. You know. So.
Yeah, I mean, like you
nothing
know,
you can do with
that was part of the industries going down. You know what I'm saying? That means that was a representation of everything going down. The planes ain't going down. Ain't no traveling happening. If there's no satellites, ain't nobody getting no communication. You feel me? Like it's over with. You know what I mean? The black woman was missing. The black girl was missing her mother during that situation. The matriarch of the family order was broken up. You feel me? Like that was interesting. During that whole thing.
So which character was most relatable to you?
I don't feel like none of them really. None of them was acting the way I would act it in that situation. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the brother was trying to figure things out, but they made his character unrelatable. You know what I mean? He's like this.
He was too mysterious for me. Like
he really. They made it seem like he was mysterious, but he really wasn't.
But he wasn't. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They made it to the point where I felt like he was gonna do something crazy.
You just didn't trust who he really was. That's the kind of the whole thing. Like the black man said exactly who he was the whole time. What he do? This is my house. He was, you know what I'm saying? He was actually telling the truth, but it's still that whole thing. You can't trust a rich black man.
Now the cinematography of the movie was excellent. The way they even zoomed in and when they was transitioning to the different scenes, they did a great job at that.
And he had this house, and he had to sleep in the bottom of his own house in America. You know what I'm saying? The house that was his. You feel me? And that's all the girl like, man, why the fuck we sleeping in the bottom of this house? Like, but it was like even towards the end when they was going through that situation where they had the gun on each other, and he was telling Ethan Hawke character like, bro, this stuff go get bad. I need to know, you know what I mean? Like, you with me through this. Because at that point, he realized, like, it's exactly what I thought it was. I might have to kill this dude and kick his family out. Like, it might be every man for theyself right now because people going to be tripping and I got to take care of my daughter. You feel me? Like, after that scene, things get ugly because the realization is stuck in your head now. You ain't going back. He's seen what he'd be willing to do, he'll be willing to kill. You feel me? So I feel like, you know, the black man character, although I wouldn't have been doing all that Captain Saver stuff, so I couldn't, like, that wouldn't have been me. None of that. I would have went to my neighbor, you know what I mean? And he would have definitely gave me supplies. He'd have gave me more supplies than that.
I think the daughter kept it the realest when she was talking to her dad.
Oh, for sure.
And she said, I just need to know if you with me, if this shit ever happened. And that you only trust me, and definitely don't trust the white people.
Oh no, she kept
I
it
think
that
that
way.
was like the most prolific line.
She ain't go nowhere. She ain't trust nothing.
Yeah.
She was like, Pops, you told me the world might end. I believe that. And yeah, what we doing? We kicking them out the crib or what? You know what I'm saying?
Like when she sit back and like analyzed everybody, even when they didn't think she was paying attention. And she already had her. She was basically, she was at the conclusion already. Like, man, fuck all that. And she was telling her daddy, like, that being nice shit, that's what's gonna fuck us up in the end.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Black people always trying to be nice, and nobody trying to be nice to us.
And that's why I wouldn't have.
Because that was the whole thing. Like, black people didn't have no reason. They didn't have to be nice. They could have kicked them folks out their house. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were the ones being the most civil because it's like, bro, the world ended. This is a goddamn war going on. Y'all are in our house. At some point in time, the roles was going to have to switch. Like, when they got back to that house, you got to think about what was going to happen. They not sleeping in the basement no more. They've come to a realization of what things are. Either they probably was going to end up going to that bunker, but that bunker only has food for so long. After that, decisions got to be made. What we doing? The black dude, the one got a gun, so he going to be in control of the situation. He kicking them out or he keeping them in. You know what I'm saying? Julia Roberts might be like, you know what, just kick Ethan Hunt out, kick the husband out, and then she gonna stick with the black man, the masculine.
Yeah.
She was already on it. She was
on-
already
yeah.
on it. She started dancing with
When
him.
she put the song on
Then the
next.
black music through the whole shit. Remember, all the black music
yeah.
through it was all nostalgia for a time that don't exist no more. You know what I mean? Playing all them love songs, family songs. That time don't exist no more. That's why I feel like a prevalent thing was that time don't exist. But it's predictive programming for a war to come. You know what I'm saying? It's the end of those type of resources that's been utilized to control the world. If the world switches up on different sources of energy, America is over. You feel me? Like the black man how to rise in his own house. You know what I'm saying? And take control. I ain't sleeping in the basement of my own home. You feel me? What's the point of you being nice? Like, nah. It was a lot of symbolism in that movie. You know, even just the idea of family, you know, during that time, I think was key.
I wanna know if you all have any questions. Can y'all drop y'all questions in the live chat?
Yeah, let me see. Hold on. They say the white lion. Let me pull up. White lion.
Yeah, I think the little girl, she had a great idea too. She wouldn't have found her whole house. I didn't even tell nobody. Went in there, ate all the food, and got to watch her show.
Yeah, all of this is predictive programming.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, this is a good question. They say, do you think They Clone Tyrone and Leave the World Behind was created simultaneously for a specific reason?
Yeah, it's predictive programming. Like, but it's also that whole thing. Number one, they go create the type of content they know we go engage in, know we go talk about. But is that programming is putting it directly in your face. Before they get to fully implement things, you know what I mean, they got to tell you about them ahead of time. You know what I mean, we at this point where they don't have to hide anything no more because people ain't gonna do nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? People ain't gonna do nothing. Like, if you knew they plans, what would you do? They put it in the movie. But anyway, so let's go to the 1619 ship, right? So
To the what?
the ship. So in the year 1619, it was the White Lion. It was an English privateer ship that arrived in Point Comfort in the colony of Virginia, right? This is often noted as a pivotal moment in American history, right? So that White Lion, you know, which was a start of the transatlantic slave trade, which it started before 1619, you know what I'm saying? But in that time, what did they do? You know what I mean? That was the making of the slaves. They say that the White Lion carried approximately 19 to 20 Africans, right? That was traded to the colonists for food and supplies. These individuals were considered to be the first Africans to be brought to the English North America, right? So, you know, it was very, very emblematic, you know what I'm saying, of like a representation in the symbol. They didn't put none of that stuff on there by accident.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? The arrival of that was a representation of a new world. You know what I mean? But that's the old world. We ain't slaves no more. You know what I mean? Black dude showing up with his bow tie on and his black girl and they own the house now. Ain't no more being nice. You know what I mean? It's the end of that kind of America. Like he was telling them like, man, we got the money. He was like, oh, what neighborhood y'all stay in? Like, y'all ain't, oh yeah, that's a nice affordable neighborhood. My daughter thought about staying there when she wanted to leave the house. He was telling you, we got the money. Black girl was talking to that white girl like, man, I ain't worried about y'all. Y'all ain't got no money. This our crib. Why we got to be nice to y'all? You feel me? Like, it was key on that. But yeah, that was, you know, it's like when that ship arrived in America, and of course they were there before 1619, but
Right.
most people mark that as the beginning of slavery, right? That was a whole new world beginning. You know what I mean? The trade of black bodies that lasted for 400 plus years. You feel me? But now it's the opposite of that. It's the end of America.
It's the end, yeah, I was just gonna say, so when the ship rolled up to the sand and whatnot, it had to stop.
Mm-hmm.
And the movie actually started like that.
Because a lot of people believe that was like the beginning of America's history and African history in America, which it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? But You got to look at the emblems and the symbols. And then in some cultures, the white lion represents something powerful. So all of those characters, um, you know, I think represented, symbols to go back and look at. Somebody say the G.H. Scott character represent the Kill Harry Scott revolution will not be televised. You know what I mean? There's no television. You know what I'm saying? I think you just go back and you can see the warning of the fall of America.
Well, that gotta happen today though. If you keep playing. But the fall of America is true though, man. Like, but at the same time though, it's a whole world out here, man. We got different countries like with different vibes. You can always go to Africa. You know, you can always go to Africa.
That's a fact. You know what I'm saying? Becoming a global citizen, I think, is key. Like, if you want to think about getting you a global passport right now,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I'm ready to leave America. I'm ready to go to Africa next week. I went out there, had the greatest time of my life. It was the first time I felt safe. Like, we don't have to we don't have to stay in America.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be here. You can leave. You know what I'm saying? Or you can get caught up in this situation because America's karma is that white lion. America's karma is that ship that docked, you know what I mean, that came over here and brutalized the people for years. America's karma is the murders that they did to the Native Americans and them building an empire on that. And it's going to end on that as well. I think that's all key.
I'm saying, so what do you think America gotta do to combat the fall?
It can't do nothing. It's
Can't?
over.
You think so?
There's
You don't think it's nothing
no,
like possible?
No, it's nothing America can do besides giving up all the power to black men and black women. It's the only thing it could do. Otherwise, because that's the karma of America. The karma of America is the white lion. You know what I'm saying? It has to go through, karma has to go through a cycle. You know what I'm saying? Like, that house got to belong to the black people.
But this the thing
That
though.
White House that they had. That
With-
black man in that bow tie.
All right, so you say that, right? They give us all the power, right? So with all the agendas, mental games that they play with us over the years, the physical slavery, all of that, right? And the way that the people are still stuck in the matrix, our people. If you gave us the power today, what should we do with this power? That's the question. That's the real question, because I think a lot of people are going to abuse it. Only because of the way they design and they still program.
You said what we should do with
Yeah,
the power?
what should we do? What would, like if black people was
What would you do if you had all the power?
free all my dogs? No, just playing. What I would do, me personally, I really don't know. But it wouldn't be nothing like it is now. I'll tell you that much. Like I definitely like to stop like all the laws Obama signed. I don't really want to speak on it, but that would be over with. It wouldn't be no kids can tell me their gender and all of that shit. None of that. And we'll have it like it'll have to be like protocol and mandatory for black families to learn about financial literacy or jail time. Some serious shit like that, for real. Like everybody will have to have investments or whatnot, like for sure, for sure. That's what I would change.
I was looking up what Obama's connection was to this whole thing. That's what I want to see. Like, what the hell, Obama? It's gonna be a hell of videos, kind of breaking this stuff down. I don't know, man. If I had all the power in the world,
Yeah.
all the power in the world. I mean, I don't think it's just so easy.
But no,
to just
you say that America got to give the power to the black men and the black women.
yeah, cause
But shit, like right now today, like with the messages that all the black women be putting out and all that, I don't need that right now. As far as like, you know, we got the Glorillas and Sexy Reds and shit. They don't need that. It'd have to be like people who got their mind right that get the power, like, and we'll have to hold our people who not got their mind right accountable, like for real, for real.
You said the sexy reds and glorilla's.
Yeah, I'm saying like when you say give all the black people power, now we all just in control. We'll have to change all of that type of
I
shit.
ain't say give all black people power. I ain't never said no crazy stuff like that. I don't
You
think
said America, that's what America got to do, right? They got to get the black people, the
Well,
power
I'm
to the
talking about
black
the
man.
smart ones, man.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the ones who got the ideas, who can build. Cause think of it like this. All right. So if America gives black men the power, right? And by
Yeah.
that, it ain't just saying like you gonna hand everything over and just be our slaves, right? We don't get the dream like that big, goddamn. So, but it's more so like investment dollars that go to black men, like less than 1%. We talked about that in the last episode of Man to Man. If America wanted to change things, they would have to change where they put their money and their power and their investment, right? What are the issues with America, right? America has a karmic debt from the cycles of slavery, oppression, and servitude that has been passing down for years and years to come. We need new ideas out of America. You need a new representation, right? Like America is looked at as the white devil of the West. You know what I'm saying? So it's not until the black guys get to take control. We can be ahead technologically. We're going to be ahead influentially, right? Everybody wants to be the black American, the magical ones. So if we were given the reins of power politically and financially, right, man, we could definitely change America. Who going to be able to mess with us if we was the ones running America? Our army is gold.
What systems would you take from the white man though? As a black man in power,
What systems? I ain't taking, I mean.
because I feel like they got a couple good systems.
I wouldn't say I'm
A good
taking the
strategic-
systems from the white man, but there's institutions that are already set up. You don't have to destroy everything, right? You look at what works, and you got to get a holistic view, because once you start thinking higher, you can think on a street level, right? Or you can think on I look at it like this. So you got level of thinking about self. How do you run and govern yourself, right? Then how do you run and govern your family, right? The people around you, your friends, right? Then so that's like your home. Then it's like, all right, now let's say a person wanted to govern a neighborhood. That's a different thinking, all right? I got to start thinking about how do I maintain a certain quality of life for everybody around here, right? How do we make sure that there's peace? How do we make sure that, like, if you're a neighborhood, watch person, or, you know what I mean, that person in your environment, you got to have local meetings set up to make sure that certain things are done right, people cutting their grass. There's certain responsibilities when you take on that, right, when you got that power. Then you start talking about you may become a councilman, right? Then you start talking about you may become a mayor, or you may become a governor or a senator or a president, right? So each level of these powers require different levels of planning and different level of responsibility of things to think about, right? You literally have a planning committee that brings all the issues and problems. So you would have to take a look at what's working and how you need to tweak things. You can't just go in with an ideological framework to say, I want to change things, therefore they are, right? Things have to go in a particular order in order for them to work. Because once you tweak one thing, you can mess up a whole other, right? It's like when people become in politics, they realize that change is sometimes slow because you got constituency that you have to make sure that you're always tapping in with. Like, you may do something for the local neighborhood people and be like, all right, we're going to cut the police in this. But now you got to deal with the police union. You know what I'm saying? They may have an issue with you, but then you may need the police to go deal with something. You're like, well, remember, you know what I mean? You cut the funding for the police.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then you may do that. Then you got teachers union. You like all these different unions and all of these different groups and all of these different balances. So that's a thoughtful question, and a thoughtful answer has to be given based on you having information, based on you having a goal, and based on you having a meritocracy where you sit with very intelligent people and y'all come up with ways to solve problems. And I think a lot of these problems can be solved by design issues.
Right.
Society is inherently designed with flaws, and in order to bring in new systems that could be better, you have to uproot the current system and build a better one. That happens with technology. There can be great technology that you may want to replace even in your own home, but what do you got to do first? You got to rip out the cables and the wirings or whatever you got and then replace that with the new. So like the only places that benefit from, new shifts and be able to get the updates for everything is places that don't have infrastructure. So if you go to the hood, you may be able to build because it's already been old. It's been old systems that they've been. You go to Africa, you can utilize new technology instantly because they don't have anything to uproot. You can just give them the latest and the greatest. So it's like there's challenges when you think about being a master. The problem with society today is, you know, if you remove the word slave master from history and you just call it master, you realize that there's only two thinkings in America. There's a slave thinking and a master thinking.
Yeah.
Right? The master raises his child completely different than a slave raises his child. Right? A boss raises his child different than a worker raises his child. Right? You got the rich dad, you got the poor dad in America. So the slave owner or the master is going to tell this child, listen, this is how you manage people. Right? This is how you keep them aligned. This is the psychological, ways that you can make sure that you can manipulate these people around you. This is how you run your house, right? They're the managerial class, right? They manage the people, right? So the slave dogs will be like, yo, you got to work the field. You got to keep master happy. You don't do this. You don't do that. He's teaching you how to be a good worker or a good slave. Yeah. These masters teaching you how to be a boss, right? The managerial class. And then that same thing follows throughout history, right? So, you grow up and your parents tell you go get a nice job. You know what I mean? Be nice to that man. Work for them.
School.
Somebody else, and that's rich, it'd be like, no, this is how you manage your workers. You know what I'm saying? This is how you carry yourself when you go into place. This is how you network. This is how you be a master in the world versus how you be a slave in the world. So it's like the thinking of flipping that switch with most people to seeing being a master as good is very far and hard for most people, because they still see whether they don't realize is they equate the slave to good, not because the slave was innocent, right? But the reality of it is that the thinking of the master is the one who has the power and control, right? So there's a switch that hasn't flipped and the mind of our people.
Right.
And that's the master switch hasn't flipped. Even the black dude in the movie, he was still thinking like, I got to appease them. I got to be nice to them. You know what I mean? Like this girl was like, no, you the master here.
Then he thought his response was because it's the right thing to do.
No, that's because you thinking like a worker. You thinking like a slave. You can't really use your power. You're not using your power. You on some Obama type stuff. Like, no, use your position. You in position. It's yours. Utilize it. You know what I mean? Take your power. Act like you in a position that you in. So it's like, you give a slave some money, he's still gonna do all the slave things, just consume. You get a master of money, he go create things for the slave to consume, right? It's just master thinking. There's two types of people in the world. There's a master and there's a slave. There's masters who manage the masters, right? Those are the people who are above the politicians, right? They control the politicians. What control this world ain't politicians, it's corporations. That's the managerial class, the tech people. You know what I'm saying? The people that like Google, Amazon, those are goddamn conglomerates, right? If these companies crash, America crashes, company crashes. Like Walmart employs tens of thousands of people. You know what I'm saying? They the number one employer in the world, right? So it's like when you think about that, then you're talking about a different level of mastery and power. And this is where, if you ever want to flip the switch in the minds of black Americans, you have to get them to think like masters.
Yeah.
They put out the report that black people have 17,000 in wealth, white people have 171,000, right? And median income wealth or net worth, right? And the reality about that is that, first of all, we always comparing ourselves to whites, and we don't need to. Number one, I say that because whites have inherited their wealth through institutions and systems that we can't keep up with. So that's a failing race already. If you're going to compare yourself to somebody that you can probably catch up to, you have to compare it to the strategies of Asians and like Jewish people, right? Because white people go always have a head start over everybody, but that doesn't mean that they have to stay in front, right? So when you go on TV, how come they never said this is black? And this is why they always say this is black wealth and white wealth. Why they never say this is black wealth and Jewish wealth? Why they never say this is black wealth versus Asian wealth or black wealth and Latino wealth? They never do that. But white people got a lot of their wealth, of course, through inheritance of assets, right? It's not that they're just going out there just out earning. Black people making money. But when you start talking about a person's net worth, you're talking about real estate. You're talking about houses. Did you inherit a house? I didn't inherit no house. If you would inherit a house, it's going to give you an automatic boost in net worth, right? And that value that increases over time from that asset that you own What's that difference that they talking about? Average person go get them a child, it decreases their net worth. You got one child. But then they show you go get education. Most people have debt that go in education, but people who have the most debt usually don't have a problem paying off the debt because the more education you get allows you to pay off the debt. So the more you spending towards education may come with more debt, but it also comes with the ability, the skill sets, the know-how, the knowledge to be able to accumulate and make money. But that doesn't particularly mean net worth because it's not just income. So there's a lot of different factors. Then you got age factors, right? People 33 and under, or people 40-year-old, 50 or 60, and how much money that they making in each bracket. A lot of people can increase the amount of income you want all day long, but that's not what is measured when you talk about net worth. It's the assets that's gonna matter. So we don't have gold, we ain't got land, real estate, right? If Americans increase their net worth this year because of stock performance. So we'd be looking at, all right, Asians are the ones who have the most accounts when it comes to stocks. You know what I mean? So they getting that money over there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So for black people, that's where it starts: investing,
Yeah.
and learning financial literacy skills.
Well, yeah, investing, education, financial literacy should be a minimum, like a super minimum. It should just be something you just learn and taught. It shouldn't even be a aspiration. You know what I mean? It should just a language. How does America work? How do things work? And that's something you taught as you raising a child in the household. Like that should be easy. But we look at Asians, they ain't got all the same problems we got. And I know people gonna be like, well, they got different stories. That's fine. They can have different stories. Let's learn so we can change our narrative, right? And it don't matter. Everybody ain't got to do it. How many families that feel like they ready and want to take accountability and say, okay, well, this is the way to build wealth. Let's do it. The education out there is free. We complain about stuff in our community that we don't have to. You know what I'm saying? Like you can complain about buying education or you can just go learn on your own, right? Like, but the survey shows the more money you spend on education, the more money you make. The problem is that we ain't spent enough money yet on education. We complain about the little we do. You know what I'm saying? The people who spend the most, they get the most. The educated class in America still makes the most. Whether that's a college degree or that's a skill set that you're learning. Whether it's self-education or you're going to an institution. But you got to get the type of education that matters.
Right.
So, you know, we got the highest rates of mental illness. Everybody went and got a psychology degree, but how many people actually opened up, you know, therapist offices? You know what I'm saying? Like how much information do you see being
willing
spread?
to go to the therapist office?
Yeah, I mean, well, if it was people that spoke our language,
Yeah.
how many people you see that spread the information in the digestible way that you learn from? Like, where's the application of the information and how is that useful to building wealth? So we're not getting nation building skills. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
it's a lot that go into that, huh?
yeah. So all I'm saying is we can't compare ourselves to white folks because what they've done, we're not going to be able to do and catch up in that considerable amount of time. They stole wealth. They passed down wealth. When black land was owned, you know what I'm saying, and we didn't have trust and wills, you know what I'm saying, they would steal that land that was in southern black land that was out there. We had millions of acres that we owned. They stole it because they know that we was ignorant of the law. So if we have to stop comparing ourselves to models that we can't win against, our strategies have to be jumping into tech sectors or whatever is the emerging sectors that work. Our strategies have to be, you know what I'm saying, becoming prosumers, creating the things that we consume, circulating money amongst each other, right? It has to be practicing, you know, hiring each other, hiring family, right? Specifically, not just for our own businesses, but when we're in positions of jobs. It has to go, even the Zionists that don't believe in God still believe that they God's chosen people. That means that they have a collective belief system. What do we all believe? Do we even believe that we God's chosen people? They got a framework built on the fact that they God's chosen people and anybody in their way is an enemy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's cold.
So shit, we just need a new protocol. That's what.
That's the protocol.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like that to me is the game. That to me is the key. if you're not willing and you're not ready to have a collective belief system, if you're not willing to do those things to implement those strategies, we can wait to reparations till they decide to do something, or we can have strategies.
Anybody waiting no more, man? It's time to wait.
That's all I'm saying.
It's takeover time now.
So that's all that matters. I'm just tired of lazy people today, and I want to end on this. We are in a winter cycle, and I don't know who need to hear this, but
it's find your tribe season.
That too. But during the winter cycle, you're supposed to fail. And not fail in the sense that nothing's worked, but life has to go through cycles. You have to go through summer, stuff is hot. You have to go to spring, the equinox, where things are growing and flourishing. You have to go with fall, where you're preparing for winter, right? Things are simmering down. It's letting you know the seasons are there for a reason, right? The seasons are there to let you know what you're supposed to do. I was talking to Blue earlier about this, like you getting less sun during the seasons. So that sun charge you up. It allow you to be able to deal with things. Everybody's going through these dark nights of the soul and having all these issues because they're not coping with the fact it's wintertime. Right? It's like, yeah, I know you need money. I know you got issues. I know you're going over your audits. I know you having self-reviews because this is a time where you reflect on everything that you did or didn't do this year. Yeah. And it weighs heavy. It's supposed to weigh heavy. That's what winter is for. Winter is darkness. Winter is hibernation. Winter is a time where you decrease socialization and you learn yourself again. Socialization is literally a simulation. You go around other people. You act as they are so you can be in a spirit of camaraderie. But you don't know yourself when you always socializing because you're doing things to get along with people so you act like the people that you're around. So winter is time of isolation, right? If you was on a ranch in a farm, this would be time where you got to migrate the cows. You know what I mean? This would be time where you're not getting no harvest. You got to shut things down. You got to go in for the cold. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But people are so out of touch with the seasons, they don't understand why they're going through things. And you got January coming up again. You better goddamn use this time.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you got to use the time to prepare for something as well, though. Because when the sun come back out, you better be ready.
Listen, it's a strategy that you can take. It's a 90-day strategy, right? You get 90 days to set up your strategy. You know, every year there's a Black Friday and people make some of the most money ever made because they prepare all year for it. I mean, that they do all the marketing and advertising all year to prepare people for this idea. This the time I want you to support me, right? But you can create that yourself. You can start January 1st planning, promoting, and executing on something that you may not launch till 60 days. And in that 60 days, you may get, you can be preparing to get an email list, text list, DM list, and you be advertising it every single day, and then you finally launch it 60 days from now, 90 days from now. And then that day, you could probably make 5 months of pay, right? So you can spend every day working, right? Or you can spend every day building because it's the magic versus the science. Yeah. The magic is what you do. The science is how you do it, right? So that goal goes into what you want to do. I can give you a 90-day step formula like this is what you go do in order to build your brand, build your content, write your book, get your business going, whatever it may be. You better be investing in consultations, education, that time of isolation. You better be getting your shit together because ain't nobody going to feel sorry for you. And I'm telling you, 2024, yes, it's Find Your Tribe season. You know what your tribe look like? You know what type of values, the type of people you should be sticking and connecting with? Because I promise you, where this world is going, when they say leave the world behind, you know how many people it's go willingly leave you behind because they go say, why you ain't do that last year? Or you want me to feel sorry for you? Why you ain't get your ish together? You had every single day of life to make a decision and execute upon that decision, and you didn't.
Right. So don't get off of this live and then make a New Year resolution. Just start today. Start today, man. For real.
Like
90 days, clock start today.
You better start a habit. I don't believe people resolutions. Resolutions are good if you have the habits to stick to your resolution. People are weak. Some people are strong. Some people, I congratulate you for the year you've been through.
Yeah.
Some people, I feel sorry for your mama. In real life, because I'm going to tell you, only the strong gonna survive this next season. This ain't for everybody. Those of you've been on yours, congratulations. Those of you who, it might have just been your time to survive through this, because you might not have been in that mental and spiritual place. That's your success. Congratulations. But if you got all these thoughts and you trying to figure out why nothing is working for you, and you've been out socializing instead of isolating, coming up with a plan and sacrificing, because sacrifice in Latin means sacred. That means to make your time worth something. That time supposed to be sacred. Was it sacrificial time? It was worth something. Was it sacred? Or was it wasted? And I really hope this hit hard to people, because I'm at this point in society to where I only want to be surrounded by those people who really want to reach their zenith, who want to optimize in reality. I don't know this, I'm about to go learn it. I'm about to get better. Oh, technology around AI, bet I'm about to put in 1,000 hours. When we need to be distracted and entertained because we don't want to deal with what's happening. The world is falling apart around us. And we just want to act like it ain't happening. We gonna act like you need to be focused on the celebrity gossip, entertainment news, hip hop journalism or something. That's you worrying about what Kanye West said and he wearing a black mask? That don't matter. That man got hundreds of millions of dollars. His legacy is secure. What about yours? Your opinions about the daily activities and lives of others is ruining your own life. You know too much about other people and not enough about your own children. You know too much about other people's plans and you don't have any of your own. But for those who do, congratulations. You gonna be one of the ones. You get, starting now, 2024 already began.
Yeah.
How you think all of a sudden magic
like,
gonna happen January 1st?
Like, what, 20 days from now? Probably less than that.
Less than that. It's already here.
Yeah.
You gotta live it. If you show up on time, you late. You show up on January 1st, you already late. What habits are you gonna build that's gonna be beneficial for your future? You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever you need to shake off, you got 20 days, shake all that off now. Whatever you need to get out your system, get that ish out your system. But you gotta go in there already doing it. You start on January 1st, it ain't gonna work. You get that January 1st up until the spring equinox, right? So you go into spring, that's the New Year's. This is not the New Year's. You don't grow nothing during winter. Look, I'm trying to tell you. You don't grow nothing during winter.
You right.
You find me one farmer that plants during the winter time. So stuff not working for you, it's not supposed to. This is the time you supposed to be goddamn counting your harvest from everything you did all year.
Well, they be growing shit in the lab nowadays, so you gotta be careful.
Hey, test tube, baby. Yeah. My pops used to call it. But anyway, man, that's what I have for y'all. That's your sermon for today. You know what I mean? Create a system.
I kind of actually like this live because I was actually against making the man live. So we could have been did this a long time ago.
I've been said that.
But I kind of like this little vibe. It's kind of cool. I get to engage with the people in the comments. So I think we're going to do this again. We got a couple more episodes coming to y'all in the next couple of weeks. They already recorded. I just got to drop them. I'm going to be dropping clips on the stories. We got the man-to-man on Patreon, and we also going to have it on Red Circle, so y'all can tune in from a couple different outlets. I appreciate y'all for tuning into the Man-to-Man podcast. It's your host, Steve Jones, and my brother, 19 Keys, and we'll catch y'all before the new year.
Peace.